And so when you hunted the zebra, this is this is what kind of zebra is this again?
It's called a
Mountain zebra.
Mountain zebra.
And the mountain zebra was at one point in time protected.
That's my understanding. That is that it was at least nearing being a vulnerable species. The numbers were quite low, and I believe they weren't allowed to hunt it for some period of time until the numbers came back up.
And when you hunted them, did they have a specific zebra they wanted you to target?
No. So they have a group, and so for me it was exciting, and maybe it's like, maybe this sounds too cold, but I don't know, it's like paintball but on another level, because you kind of know you're going to get an animal, and you go through a couple of fences, you get into the reserve, and you have a tracker, and so I'm guided the whole time, which is what I would prefer. I hunt maybe once a year, and I do it for the show, and so. Eventually, they triangulate. They send out the Khoisan guy to rustle up some zebras, and maybe 3 came by, and they were basically like, whichever one you can get is fine. They all looked about the same size, so it didn't seem like they were pushing me to shoot a specific one. It wasn't like they had an outlier that was creating trouble for them.
And what does the terrain look like? Are the zebra aware that you're there, or are you hidden? So do you have to follow like general principles of hunting, like stay downwind of them?
Yes. Yeah, and we had to, they ran away from us several times. And even when I shot it, maybe the first, you said you watched that one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I hit it, I got a lot of shit for that. I hit it in the leg, but I was about 250 yards away. It's rocky. The terrain is rocky. There's a lot of shrubs. And so there are things to hide behind. But yes, if they catch your scent, then that's going to be an issue, and they'll bolt.
Yeah, so you had to do a follow-up shot.
Yes, and luckily I was able to do that quickly. But again, it's like buck fever. It's
Yeah.
I'm doing my best. It's like I don't feel nervous, but my body doesn't care. My heart's beating like crazy. And, if you're off by 1 millimeter, by one hair, it's like that second shot, they could have told me, oh, you missed by like 15 feet, and I would have believed them. But it was like dead nuts on.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy about that, because you can't predict how a hunt is going to go, and you just don't want the animal to suffer too much.
Was that the first time you'd killed a large animal like that?
Yes.
It's a weird feeling, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I did hog hunting in Alabama once, and I scoped myself, and I had to get 4 stitches. It's funny, I scoped myself.
Let's just explain to what scope yourself is. When you're looking too close to the scope, as the rifle goes off, it kicks.
Right.
And the scope comes back and slams you in the forehead.
Yeah. So ideally, you should have I don't know, maybe 3 inches back from the scope to have the full view. And I didn't realize that at the time. I was like, I'm going to get right up on this fucking scope. Yeah. And then it kicked. What's funny is I got 2 practice shots that day, and then I had to go to the hospital. And then my head was swollen, and I had to wake up the next day at 5 a.m. And
oh, man.
I started bleeding immediately.
You scoped yourself hard.
And I point to my forehead, and I go, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, you can see it happen here.
And so the next morning, this is a lot of pressure. I'm like, I have a permanent scar in my head now. I have to get a freaking hog. I can't leave this place without shooting an animal. And so, luckily, I got 2 the next day. But that also was this type of exhilaration, and it's a weird feeling. It was even a stranger feeling with the zebra, because it's a mix of accomplishment and duty, I would say, because when I just injured the animal, I was like, it's my duty, it's my obligation to put it down as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Right.
But I can't just go crazy and just start shooting like crazy.
Yeah. But is it a different feeling? I mean, what does it feel like to eat an animal that you just shot? It is a different feeling than just eating meat. Like, you have this connection to that meat now.
Oh, yeah. So I know you're more versed in this than me. And I guess I do feel like, tracking down an elk or going hunting for days would be, you'd feel much more accomplished.
So this was more like shopping with a rifle.
It's something in between.
Yeah.
Shopping with a rifle. It's something in between. It still, it felt like a sense of accomplishment for sure. And the meat was incredible. I guess I was most taken aback by eating this type of meat that I'll never probably eat again in my life, and just having the privilege of trying that.
And is that like a common cuisine amongst the people that work in that ranch that you went to?
No, not at all.
No.
So, what's interesting in South Africa is the, what is the animal? The animal with the spiral,
Oryx?
Horns. It's not that one.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not coming to me now. There is some game meat that's widely available, even in grocery stores in South Africa.
Which one?
Kudu.
Kudu. Yeah,
Nice.
Kudu's supposed to be very good.
Thanks, Jamie.
And eland.
Yeah, it was incredible. But you'll find kudu in the grocery store, so it's really all over the place. And so people might be eating kudu, but not the more like rare game meats, especially people in the villages. And
So these people that you hunted with, this is the first time they had eaten zebra as well?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't ask them. I'm assuming not, because they have zebras there and people hunt the zebras. And, if you're going to have a game reserve, you need to be good at cooking and at hunting.
Yeah.
You can't just be one or the other.
The people that I know that have gone over to Africa say that the meat stays there, but you eat it the entire time you're there.
Yeah.
So the meat does go to these villages, but also you get to eat as much meat as you can while you're there. I just think legally you're not allowed to leave Africa with meat.
That sounds correct.